Thanks, Rich. Okay, everybody, we are still on page 6 here in the middle of the page. So as you see, the maximum grant request per application and project site is $3 million. And the minimum grant request is $200,000. Each park does require a separate application, but there is no limit of applications that an agency can submit. So if you have multiple project sites, then you will submit multiple applications. So something a little bit different about this program versus the other competitive Prop 68 programs is that there may be a match requirement. So down here at the bottom of the page, if your project site area has a median household income above $56,982, according to the Community Fact Finder, which we are going to get to in just a few moments, then the grant can fund up to 80% of the total project cost, meaning that match is at least 20% of your project cost. If your project area has a median household income below $56,982, then you do not have a match requirement. Okay, so now we're going to go over to page 7 of the application guide. So again, just as a reminder, at the top of this page, there is $23,125,000 available through one round of Proposition 68 funding. And again, the grant performance period is July 1st of 2020 through June 30th. And then the grant performance period does represent when project costs are eligible. And again, your application deadline is November 5th of 2021. You may just want to write that in here in your guide. Okay, so for the application process section, there's just a couple of takeaways from this page that we want to mention. So something Victor talked about a little bit earlier is this competitive chart that's here for number 1. Again, you're going to want to use that. It's on the program webpage as a planning tool. Number 5 and number 6 here talk about that you want to make sure you submit your application by the deadline, obviously, and that your submittal instructions are found on page 10. And then also, as another form of technical assistance, we may help correct or complete documents after your application is submitted. But as a reminder, your project selection criteria must be complete by the application deadline, so revisions will not be accepted. But again, we recognize that things like the authorizing resolution and CEQA may take a little bit longer, so we will work with you if there's some issues with that. And do make sure you review the grant administration guide, including the contract provisions, so you can understand requirements if you're selected for funding. So let's turn over to page 8. And this is some more information about the grant administration process. Thanks, Sam. So again, for the grant administration process and performance period, if you receive a grant award, you must attend a mandatory grant administration workshop in order to receive your contract. And again, the grant performance period starts with the appropriation date, which for this program was July 1st of 2020. And once again, it ends on June 30th of 2025. So while the grant performance period ends on June 30th of 2025, again, which Victor mentioned earlier, the target completion date is March of 2025. This is to ensure that all of your paperwork is processed by June 30th. And the contract does require operation and maintenance of the project site for 30 years. So again, please use the chat feature if you have any questions, and I'm going to hand it over to Christine.